in the morning.
Can you believe this ball game at Shea?
Oh, brother.
So the winning run is at second base with 2 out, 3-2 to Mookie Wilson. Little roller up along first, behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
Man, I got to tell you, chills. I'm getting chills just listening to that. On the line right now, I am so excited and honored to have the one and only Mookie Wilson on the line right now. Good morning.
Yeah, I got you. Good morning. How you doing?
I got to tell you, that audio, I don't know about you, but it still gives me chills.
It was quite amazing. It was amazing. Even when I see it today, it's something else.
It really is. I got to tell you, I missed game 6. I was at game 7. I gave up game 6 tickets to my girlfriend's father at the time. What a game. Although I got to tell you,
you trying to get the brownie points and miss the game.
And missed the game. 7 was pretty good though, as a Mets fan. So it's great. You're coming up to the area here. This will be happening on May 16th, along with whoever would have thought this would happen, but along with Billy Buckner. How about?
Oh yes, sure.
How about that? You guys go on, and the questions you must have to answer have got to be awesome.
Yeah, we actually do a lot of Q&As, and I tell you what, the fans are so. It made this just really nice the way the fans really are interested in what was going on, the behind the scenes stuff, and all that's our relationship, and it's just been great.
You know, he had, I'm not a fan, but he had a great career and so remembered for that one moment. That's tough.
Well, he has had a great career, borderline Hall of Famer. It's what I always say. I think his numbers are great, and I think people tend to forget how good a ball player he really was, and to let that one play kind of define who he was. I guess that can be a little bit bothersome sometimes.
Yeah. So let's talk about you. That's the exciting thing for us right now. You went through a point where you really felt that the Mets kind of just turned their back on you.
Well, I think that I wouldn't be as strong as say they turned their back, but I do think that they have undervalued my abilities. I think that as to where I was a little angry and maybe disappointed, maybe a better word, disappointed that I haven't been utilized more.
Yeah.
And hey, I'm not the first person in this world that's been displeased with the way organization has used them. So, I just don't think that it should be all that surprising. But because this is the world that we live in, and you just have to move on and do what you have to do.
Listen, I've been through. At the time, I was the public address announcer, and I did the play-by-play on radio for the Little Falls Mets in the New York Penn League. And okay. I was a huge fan, and then the Mets win in '86, enormous. And then, like every other situation except for the Yankees, the Mets go in the front office and they completely dismantled the entire team. The chemistry disappeared. How did that happen?
I'm still waiting for that explanation myself. I don't know why. I don't know how that happened or what thinking went into the decision making there. I have no idea. But I thought that was probably the first mistake right there. People say, well, you should have won more championships. We didn't have the same personnel. We did not have the same personnel from the very first game. I mean, after '86, we immediately get rid of 2 guys.
Yeah.
You lose 2 guys, 2 key components. I mean, people forget how important Ray Knight and Kevin Mitchell were to that club.
Yeah. I mean, Ray Knight, of course, was MVP, and it just that the dismantling began. And I mean, talk about chemistry. That team had amazing chemistry, and when you take that away, it kind of, everybody's a professional. You take away the chemistry, and what do you have left?
Well, I think people I don't think they look at chemistry as a valuable component. I mean, they look at numbers.
Yeah.
Well, this guy hit 320, this guy hit 280, but you can make an argument that talent-wise, the team maybe had been better, but when you put the chemistry and the personalities, with that, we weren't as good a ball club. There was a little bit, of dissension in the clubhouse a little bit. We got Kevin McReynolds, who was a great ball player, don't get me wrong. He was a good ball player, but he wasn't a New Yorker. We brought in Greg Jeffries came in, who we knew was a good ball player, but then again, he didn't really get along with the other players. And all of this has caused the team just really did not perform the way it should have. You know, it's well, you're professionals, you should have been able to overcome all that. Well, it's just not that easy. It's not that easy. The clubhouse means a lot.
Well, you think about Gary Carter, and really the move for bringing Keith Hernandez in was really important for the 86 Mets.
Well, you know, bringing Keith Hernandez in was vital. We had a lot of young ball players with some talent, but we didn't have any experience in terms of championships, in terms of winning. I mean, I had been there for a couple of years, but I really hadn't won anything. So we needed someone who could be able to help us get over that hump. And the Gary was a great addition, but the number one addition was adding Keith Hernandez. I totally believe that.
Andrew has a question.
So, Mookie, you know, we know that Bill Buckner gets a lot of flack from Red Sox fans, but how are you received by Red Sox fans? When you ever come across a fan of the Red Sox, how do they react to you? What do they say to you?
Surprisingly, I tell you, I always get treated very, very warmly by the Red Sox fans. They say, "Oh, you broke my heart," and that's all it is. And then we have a great dialogue. We talk about the game and the series and all of that kind of stuff, and it's really, really been good. I mean, you would think they said, "Well, we hate Mookie Wilson." No, I mean, all they would say was that you broke my heart. But other than that, I've been received very well by Red Sox fans, very well.
Hey, I want to go in just for a second, and there's the at bat. It's 10th inning. Shea Stadium, Game 6, and that at bat, when you hit that bouncer down the first base line, before it reaches Buckner, because, I mean, you guys see things so much better than we do. We can play it in slow motion, but before it hits Buckner, you had to be like, I mean, what was going through your head?
Well, to be honest with you, when I first hit the ball, number one, I didn't hit it very well. It was a pitch that I really should have handled better than what I did. I didn't hit it very well, and when the ball left the bat, I said something. I'm not going to repeat what I said. I said something, and then all of a sudden, everything's in slow motion. I'm running, so I'm thinking I might run. So I'm running hard. It was absolutely no chance of my making it, but I'm running anyway.
Yeah.
And that's just going slowly, and it goes between his legs. I said something else I shouldn't have said when it went between his legs. So if you ever play baseball or tennis or anything and things don't work out the way you envision them to, you say little things, and that was so different. And then when it went between the legs, I just kept going to second base. Don't ask me why, but I was running second base, but the game was over. So briefly, that's how it all turned, and that's what Mookie Wilson was thinking at the time.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, how many Little League, high school coaches, college coaches, what do they tell you? When you hit the ball, run it out, run it out. And, here was the Mookie Wilson example of why you just run it out.
Yeah, for the millionth time I've heard that and they've preached that. You always run it out. You always run it out. You never know, the guy might fall down and break his legs or something. Whatever excuse you give the kid to always run.
Right.
For all those times, it worked.
Well, it worked
one time. So it's validation to all that preaching. All your little league coaches, teach these kids, you always run it because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. We're talking to Mookie Wilson, none other than Mookie Wilson, who is coming to town on May 16th and will be speaking. It's called a special event called Green and Gold event at Herkimer College. And it'll be $50 a person. Tickets can be picked up at the Herkimer website. It's herkimer.edu/greenandgold, or by calling 866-0300 before Friday, May 8th. And Mookie, you must. What are some of the crazy questions people ask about the two of you, having both of you there on that same stage? You've got to have gotten some pretty cool questions.
Oh, the questions, vary. In terms of, how do we meet? What was the first thing? What was the first time we got together, and stuff of that nature? Do you feel sorry for Bill Buckner, and that? So those are general questions that they ask, and stuff. And they said, well, they asked me, did I know Bill before that? and everything of that nature. And they asked me, how did I meet Bill? That's one big question. I tell him I played with his brother in the minor leagues.
Oh,
so
I didn't know that.
From that.
Wow.
So, so those are the kind of questions that we get. And stuff. And then they ask us questions about the teams that we're on. Was the team as crazy as it was? And then they ask Bill questions about his team for, why did they take Roger out and all kinds of questions like that. And it's a very good conversation. It really is.
And look at what has happened to the Red Sox, huh? I mean, from not being able to win them to they really turned things around. That year for the Mets, 1986. It was, the progression from 83 to 84, 85, and then 86. You just knew something special. I mean, that whole amazing thing worked right there because it seemed like you were never dead. The team all year long was never dead. You won games you never should have won all season long.
Well, I think that comes from, like you said, the 84 season, which was the big season. I think that big 84 season was the season where you actually turned the corner.
Yeah.
And we knew we had something special in 85. And in 86 was just a follow-up from 85. But you're right. I think we led the world and come from behind victories. And, there was no amount of runs that was unsurmountable for us. We could come back from anything, and we really felt that.
Yeah.
So coming back in 86 shouldn't have surprised us, but given the situation and the magnitude of the event, and the 2 outs and the 2 strikes on everybody, that's the only thing that was in doubt at that point. Other than that, this team was known for its coming from behind victories.
I know we're probably about close to getting cut off, but I want to remind people tickets are available right now by calling 866-0300 or going to Herkimer's website. $50 a person. Mookie Wilson and yes, Billy Buckner on the same stage together. Awesome, and it's such an honor to talk to you, Mookie. Really, a huge honor to speak to you.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
First News with Keeler in the morning. Weekday mornings at 6 on WIBX and WIBX950.com.